What up, my freaks? Ruinous Insight here with another Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2 Skalgrim Mod ship spotlight. So we are continuing our look at the Necrons and the analysis of their new ships, and this time, having moved on from the Azagorod, are now moving into a similar ship, interestingly enough, which is the CAIRN Annihilator, which is similar for a number of reasons that I'll get into in a second. I do just want to mention that the showcase for the CAIRN Annihilator, I think, is going to be a little bit different just by virtue of his cost. 616 means you can't get two of them in a single fleet. So I think I'll do like one battle with an actual fleet, one maybe a massive battle with two CAIRN Annihilators, and then one small little battle with just a single CAIRN Annihilator. It's a really unfortunate cost just by virtue of what it does to the showcase. But this is probably the type of fleet that you'd want to bring with it, which I'll get into why in a second. Although there are some missing things here, which I will also get into in a second. A lot of seconds with a lot of stuff to say. But let's first analyze the CAIRN itself really quickly. So in terms of stats, it largely does share its stats with the regular CAIRN, but I did compare it to the Azagorod instead first, because the CAIRN Annihilator, like the Azagorod, is primarily meant as a sniper, a long-range ship. Contrary to the CAIRN, it has and even contrary to the Azagorod, it has very few lightning arcs. Only 6 on such a huge costed weapons platform, less than a regular CAIRN on top of that. So that's definitely something you have to consider. This ship is meant to fight at long range using that Annihilator beam, as well as its 6 full particle whip turrets, because it's quite a bit. So long to mid-range, essentially. Most of its damage will be coming in at mid-range, so you wanna just keep it at that 13,500 unit mark. I suppose it's sort of more of a mid-range sniper as compared to the long-range sniper of the Azagorod there, so it is still slightly a different sort of playstyle with it. Speaking of playstyle, it is tankier than the Azagorod as well, at least for its point cost. It has the exact same amount of hull points, but it does actually have more troops on top of having the same amount of HP, despite being like almost 400 points cheaper. So you know that this thing, like a regular CAIRN, is it can certainly take a beating, but once again, it wants to maintain that mid-range, and you really don't want it to get up close. Similarly, it is fairly slow. 160 move speed is slower than the regular CAIRN, which moves at 200, and that's probably because the regular CAIRN does want to be relatively close to mid-range with its lightning arc turrets, because a lot of its damage output does depend on those, whereas this thing doesn't really care about the lightning arcs as much, especially against most fleets. Finally, another reason why you don't want this thing up close, like the CAIRN and the Imhotep CAIRN both have a spur and do benefit from ramming enemies, whereas the CAIRN Annihilator does not. So that is certainly another indictment of using it in a close combat sort of thing. As I've already mentioned, it does have more HP than a little bit more troops than the regular CAIRN as well, but otherwise all of the rest of the stats are shared, with the exception of that spur that I mentioned. It is still immune to criticals, which is always nice for the big Necron ships. Makes them a lot scarier and a lot less concerning with getting all of your stuff critted out. And even though it is technically a Titan, it doesn't have any of the Titan traits. I think that's just, I mean, I guess this thing sort of occupies an interesting little niche between Titan and Battleship. I mean, the Azagorod for some reason says it's a Battleship, but it is a Titan, whereas the CAIRN Annihilator says Titan. We just don't pay attention to what it says here. It's more like a souped-up CAIRN than anything else. Maybe like the Grand Cruiser of battleships, in that the Grand Cruiser as compared to cruisers, I suppose, in that it, well, then again, Grand Cruisers do tend to have specialized roles. You know what? Halfway between Titan and Battleship. That's what I'm going with, and I'm sticking to it. Anyway, let's take a look at this thing. The weapon systems are already basically analyzed here. I've already said it's mainly relying on those mid-range Gauss particle whip turrets, which can propagate. Same with the Annihilator beam turret, which can also propagate, and thus you absolutely have to take the arc propagator upgrade for this. You don't really get too much damage out of those lightning arcs, so any upgrades for them aren't really relevant. And obviously, since you're going to put such a huge point investment in a single ship, you're probably going to want to be bringing a Nightmare Shroud on top of that. Although being a sniper, it could also very much benefit from hull cauterization, or whatever the I keep forgetting what the name of it is. The name of the upgrade that upgrades your hull cauterization when you're in clouds and asteroid fields. We'll check back in a second when we look at that. Now, as for the appearance, it's a pretty cool ship. It's essentially a cairn welded to a scourge, which is interesting enough because it doesn't have any carrier capacity. You do have to keep that in mind. Like the Azagorod, it is a sniping ship that does generally want a support fleet, just by virtue of the fact that it won't be able to protect itself from ordnance and all that sort of stuff, especially against spammy fleets like the Tau and maybe even the Space Marines. Lots of boarding torps or regular or missiles or ordnance. Definitely needs this thing to have at least a couple smaller ships to provide it some Star Pulse waves, or if not, then some fighter carriers. So yeah, do keep that part in mind. Otherwise, that's about it for its stats and its weapons. Let's take a look at the various color schemes. Mefrit always looking cool, but that's just by virtue of being different, isn't it? Neferu, very similar to Charnavok, and I don't think I've actually run a single battle with Charnavok yet. Maybe I'll do that this time. There's the Nihilak and the bluish hull that they have. Kind of hard to spot once again in this particular lighting, but you know, you can see it right there. Novak always looks pretty cool. Yeah, I love the red hull. I wish that there was another type with the red hull and maybe different color LEDs in addition to the red hull. Sawtech, that's the standard hull, but and the green lighting, but the red blades. This one actually does look pretty lovely as well. Ooh, yeah, look at that. I like these like spine parts on the Scourge there. Then these little I don't know, little mini blades, I guess, as compared to these bigger blades. That's a pretty nice color scheme. Go Sawtech. And then Temerin, and Akalith the Wise, that's you. And then Thuct, lastly, with another new set of LEDs. There should be more LEDs. I wish there was I didn't see with the straight up red LEDs like Chaos. I feel like maybe like the Flare one's ships. Flayed one's ships. Yeah, anyway, Charnavok is the one that we are going to go into, and now we're going to take it into some battles. So let's take it with this fleet first. Now, this is the sort of fleet I might generally bring for this thing. Because it's a sniping ship, I would like to bring a Shroud. It's basically either Shroud or a couple of Dirges. The Shroud does provide the identification range, so that is helpful, and it can sort of stay up ahead of the fleet. I guess these guys will do the same sort of thing, but I decided to take the Shroud in this particular situation because we had exactly 76 points, and why the hell not? Otherwise, these sets are pretty much a perfect complement to the CAIRN Annihilator, because like it, they have their Gauss Particle Whip Artillery and their Gauss Particle Whip Turret, and I am going to do a spotlight of the set specifically at another point where we, use a bunch of those guys, but that'll be its own episode. I will, however, bring them just to complement this ship, as it is essentially adding same types of weaponry, so it shouldn't really take away from the ship all that much. Otherwise, we still will probably have to cloud jump, essentially, so we don't get wrecked by enemy ordnance. Anyway, yes, rewrite launch. We will be taking the Arc Propagator, as I've already spoken about earlier, and the Nightmare Shroud, because once again, big investment, big ship, gotta make use of that Nightmare Shroud. Again, I do want to mention that the Nightmare Shroud is optional. It's just that you will be in reload stance the entire time. You're never going to switch to Lightning Arc dispersion, because you don't have enough lightning arcs to make it worthwhile. You're much better off firing your bigger guns more. That said, this being a sniping ship, you're also not probably going to get a lot of enemies within your identification range. It's just that there really isn't a lot of other upgrades that would be really good for it. A residual absorption is the one that I was talking about. You don't really care about phase shifter. Shards of Yggdrasil is not going to be helpful because you don't want to be up close. So it's basically between Nightmare Shroud and Residual Absorption. Residual Absorption is better in a shootout when you're visible, whereas Nightmare Shroud is better if if an enemy fleet actually manages to get close to you. Although I do think that maybe if we're bringing Stasis Bomb, that maybe Residual Absorption would be better, but I think I'm going to go with Nightmare Shroud just in case for now. Nightmare Shroud's pretty good generalist, but then again, so is Residual Absorption. We'll see. Let's see how this goes. Looks like against an enemy Necron fleet. That's actually pretty interesting. Let's go Necrons on Necrons. I like it. I like it. Let's see how we fare. Although... I feel like I did that last time, and the Necrons do take a while. Like, we did that for the Azagorod. And did it really show you all that much? Maybe we should do something different, like maybe put them up against various different types of fleets. You know what, let's go against the Imperial Navy, which will be our easy fight, and then we'll do something against the Tau, which should be very difficult, as we saw with the Azagorod, and then maybe we'll pick one of the other fighter or other factions that like to close the distance, like Orcs, Tyranids, and Space Marines. Let's try Imperial Navy instead of Necrons this time. Generally speaking, I don't like on-like battles just because they don't lean into the asymmetry of the different factions there, and I really like that about these games and Warhammer games in general. Love that asymmetric gameplay, as I always say. Alrighty, so this is the fleet. I am going to cloud jump as I was talking about earlier, and for the main part of this, we're just going to be watching the snipes go on. So a reload and stay out here. Let's move it up. Let's also send out our Canoptech probe in a second. Ooh, hello. We have a big old carrier on the field, so that's obviously dangerous if we're not able to stick in the cloud, which is exactly what I was talking about. Although we do have a decent amount of Star Pulse waves on the field, so shouldn't be as concerned, even at the point that they do identify us. Anyway, let's speed it up while they get to us and watch them get in range of our weaponry. Everybody, oh, who is in... So the CAIRN Annihilator for some reason is in broadside, but it's that's really weird. It can fire 270 degrees for most of its stuff, so... Alright, you stick around, and there we go. Let's slow it back down. I was just like, wait a second, I'm going a little bit fast here. Alright, fine, speed it back up. Alright, what's the range on you Annihilator beams? Okay, getting there. Let's move you back a little bit, Endless Crypt, and wait for the enemy to approach. And this is just going to be a sort of shooting fish in a barrel sort of thing at first. It really is not going to be very difficult while they approach, but once they get closer, it'll be a little bit more dangerous. Especially if they can get a lot of macro ships up close. Although we do, being Necrons, have quite a bit of armor. And, it looks like the entire... Yeah, see? This is the AI cheating. See how they're all moving towards the Shroud here? Because the AI knows exactly where it is, despite the fact that it is actually hidden. Don't appreciate the blatant cheating, but oh well, what can you do? Just the nature of the game, I suppose. Alright, you guys keep shooting this enemy force. I did say that the Imperium would be a fairly easy target. I also do want to point out that the Annihilator beams in particular do take 28 seconds to fire. It takes a while, so the primary weapon does certainly take its time. Fortunately, the particle whips are only at 16 seconds, so it's not nearly as bad. The enemy is now starting to approach, so I think we can make use of our... stasis bomb that we brought here, but they are getting closer and closer. Ironically, the Shroud is actually getting some shots off on the enemy. I like to keep the Shrouds in run silent, even just in case that they get identified. Although at this point, you can now switch to reload, I think, because they're not gonna get. Okay, wait. Number one target. This guy don't get identified. Nah, we're fine. We're fine. Oh, we're actually getting close enough to get some value out of our. Oh, I got identified. Damn, sorry, Shroud. I was hoping that you'd get destroyed from a distance, but oh well. And we are going to get hit by that disruption bomb, eh? Alright, so much for our hull cauterization for a little while. Let's also set up some defensive... Oh, they have their own... stasis bomb here, ironically enough. And an Avenger Cruiser. What do they have here, by the way? A Vengeance, Overlord... Defender, Armageddon. Okay, they have a decent number of ships that could do damage if they were able to get close. AI is obviously not super good at that. Ooh, and now this debris is in the way, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to move you, say, right here. Right there, and then let's just move you guys to fight together. Hey, don't... Yeah, there you go. There you go. And then cancel your order, please. You, cancel your order. Oh, I didn't set you up to auto-engage. Well, you don't really need it. Just because you're going to fire and whatever anyway. Can you disappear again? Thank you. And that's why I wanted to do that earlier. And now they're coming. I don't think... yeah, these guys are going to get close to us. Let's try to separate the fleet then. Keep these guys back while we destroy these guys. And you are... Really? Okay, well, we're going to get boarded then. Now, what do we have out here? Yeah, there's the Arbiter. That's where all those fighters were coming from. We do have to keep in mind that that's a possibility, and thereby, you know what? Let's get these guys hiding behind our bigger ship. The sets are, after all, fairly fragile as well. There we go. Far more fragile than the Annihilator here. Oh, they're going to disruption bomb themselves? Okay, well, fair enough. I don't mind that. You. Cancel order. Do your own thing. Cancel order. Do your own thing. You don't have a spur, so it's probably pointless to ram with you. What you do have, however, is an Ancestral Terror. Try to force this Admiral to rout. We can keep on firing on it, and let's move out of whatever this is. Oh, it's going to be another stasis bomb. This actually might come in handy for us. Interestingly enough. Alright, you need to hide again. Get away from all this nonsense. And oh, you got hit again by a lance. You're getting really critted up, ain't you? We can do a pyramidal reconstruction. Why not? Why not do it? And then you're hidden again. Beautiful. Alright, how's that Admiral looking? Please rip the sky apart. Number one target. We need to cripple their the morale of the enemy fleet. As I did say, this battle was never going to be all that difficult. Alrighty, like so. And then you guys can switch your... Another stasis bomb. Yeah, they're not going to have a very good time, are they? Alright, keep defending. And oh, they're moving towards the shroud again. Yet again. Alright, let's get that other Canoptech probe up. Let's get another stasis bomb down. And... ooh, there we go. They're finally shooting us with their lances, but they are shooting the CAIRN Annihilator, which is much more able to take the hits from the enemy than we are. Let's also use the Star Pulse Wave. Oh, yeah, I think that destroyed at least one set. There we go, and a lot of them are now stuck in this. I guess we could benefit from taking out the Arbiter so it can't launch ordnance, but to be honest, this fleet is kind of screwed, so it doesn't really matter anymore. Actually, would like to make some calculations at some point as to who's more effective per point cost at range, at say 13,500 range, the CAIRN Annihilator or the Azagorod. Would be pretty interesting. I do wonder. I feel like it might be... no, it's probably still the Azagorod, even per point cost, I think. Because it does about 2,000 damage with its void beams. I don't know. Hard to say. Hard to say. Honestly, it's not that important. You're gonna get away now. Try to stay safe, little buddy. And were they launching some borders? Yeah, they were. That's cute. Alright, you can keep away here. You guys keep on sniping. Yeah, the only thing that the Azagorod does have is the ability to absolutely obliterate swarms with that dispersion, which this thing really doesn't have. Although at this point, we're pretty much safe, so we don't really care. You can actually just move forward now. We don't really benefit from ramming the enemy, but we have so much mass that we might still ram if we chose to do so. So let's just move everybody up. And just make this battle over a little bit sooner. Once again, not like the Imperium is all that challenging in this particular situation. Oh, looks like they're going to launch a bunch of boarders and bombers. I was much more concerned about the bombers. Probably could have launched some more defensive fighters as well. Do it. And then, yeah, get this debris piece out of the way. And you are still alive here. Come in. Alright, get a little bit of a ram in there. It's still a decent amount of damage. And just by virtue of the mass difference and the fact that we have a lot of armor. Yeah, we're not losing a lot of HP to this at all. Yeah, there we go. Very nice. Get in here and start boarding up this Arbiter. You two. Well, we can wait for the shields to be gone. Honestly, the Arbiter has basically no weaponry. So we don't really care about destroying it as much. So let's destroy the Dictator first, because it actually does have some weaponry. Although we can make it rout right now. There you go, fare thee well, Dictator. You guys keep providing that fire support. Board this Arbiter, but we can also ram the said Arbiter. Yeah, against a fleet like this, we're certainly not nearly as worried about the CAIRN Annihilator not being as tanky as some of the bigger Titans, but once again, it is still fairly tanky. 8,000 points, lots and lots of armor at 85 around, and yeah, 2,000, I believe, more HP than a regular CAIRN, so yeah, they're still very scary ships. They're not all that fragile. As I did mention, they're a lot more tanky per cost than the Azagorod is. It's just that they're not really meant for close combat at all, whereas the Azagorod, ironically, can do close combat okay. Alrighty, so that was that. Now, instead of bringing this fleet again, what I'm gonna want to do is do this. Just the CAIRN Annihilator by itself against... no, I want somebody... Tau might be pretty interesting. You know what, let's go Tau Merchant Fleet. This is the one I feel like, without a support fleet, we might come closest to losing. So let's try this. Yes. Merchant Fleet, they've got a lot of spammy stuff. We will obviously have to cloud jump, but we probably won't have enough firepower to destroy the enemy ships before they identify us. And then as soon as they do identify us, we're going to be in a pretty bad situation because of all those torps and all that, or missiles rather, and all that sort of shooty stuff that the Tau can do. Fortunately, ooh, that's a cool structure. Oh, that's a much more unusual structure than I'm used to seeing on these maps. What world is this? Huh. Yeah, I don't remember seeing this structure before. I'm sure, okay, that structure I'm familiar with. We've seen that one many a time. I don't remember a greenish looking structure, that's for damn sure. Cool. And oh, there's another one. A pretty cool system. Alrighty, where was I before I got incredibly distracted? Let's move you up here, set you to reload, and ready, up and go. Gotta move right into this. Ooh, we could also wait for them to launch their missiles and stuff. Oh wait, no, they can't see us. They can waste their ordnance, though. Alright, let's speed it up to max. And we'll wait for their ordnance to come a little bit closer and then jump in here to hide. Right there. Alrighty, then they're gonna have to move towards us, and while they do, we're gonna identify them with a Canoptech probe. Well, let's see if we can pull this off before they start dishing out too much damage. And possibly even force us to go into close combat. Alrighty, how close are we? Okay, we can already fire annihilator beams, and their admiral is a light cruiser. Yeah, the AI has a bad habit of doing that sort of thing. Although with regards to the Tau Merchant Fleet in particular, it's not the most surprising thing. You're probably going to identify us for whatever's back here. Probably, is it a battleship? That's a Demiurge Stronghold. Okay, that's not... I mean, it's concerning, but it's not as concerning as it damn well could be. Alrighty, hopefully you won't have enough engine power to go right past this. Number one, target this admiral, please. We're already doing it. At least we can separate the enemy fleet. Ooh, you're either going to be caught right on the edge of this, or you're going to be able to get right out of it. Ah, damn. Looks like you're out. But that's okay. I think the Annihilator Beam is going to rip you apart before you can identify us anyway. We can also make you rout, probably. You know, let's make you rout right now. Put this ancestor... Oh, they used encouraging speech, or whatever the Tau equivalent is. You're very close to identifying us. We need one more shot from that Annihilator Beam. Ooh, and a crude vessel as well. Oh, they pushed us away. That actually didn't push us nearly as far as I thought, but I think it also depends on the mass of the enemy ship as well. And oh wow, the War Sphere is certainly booking it towards us. We might need to jump. I don't think we actually want to target the War Sphere. What we could do is board it. Oh, it's going to board us right back with its better troop capacity. And I think we want to move away. It is a macro ship after all. Therefore, it's going to lose a lot of its accuracy at a distance. Alrighty. A fun little battle when it's just one ship, and it also once again feels right for the Necrons to essentially have a one powerful ship as opposed to a huge fleet when fighting enemies. Ooh, can't see that little light cruiser anymore. Let's number one target all these escorts as well. Kill those, and then we'll worry about the bigger ships after. It's just that these guys all have weaponry, and it's much faster to take them all off the field than concern ourselves with the bigger ship. Alrighty, you're going to get hopefully trapped in that stasis bomb. Looks like the Kroot War Sphere is booking it towards us once again, but we will have our jump available right now. Just get away from it so that it can't board us. It also can't switch direction easily, unfortunately for it. Alrighty, that light cruiser is gone, and so are the escorts. Let's also launch some defensive doomed sipes. Oh, and it's moving towards us again. Oh, man, okay. Won't be able to board it like this. Alrighty, Star Pulse Wave. Not necessary. Okay, we're still good. We are still good. Now, do we want to rip apart the Kroot Warship or the Demiurge Stronghold first? You know what? The Stronghold isn't doing much to us right now. It's not really able to bring any of its macro batteries to bear because it's too far away. Just its Lance Artillery. And nothing... Oh, it does have a Hellfire Beam, which could be dangerous. But yeah, let's kill this Kroot ship first. Let's also do this. Go right here. And now you should be able to hide again. Thank you, thank you. Annoying for the enemy. Number 1 target, the Kroot ship. It's almost ready to go. Oh, I should have used Nightmare, or not Nightmare. I was thinking of Nightmare Shroud, Ancestral Terror on it to make it route, but I think maybe it'll route, then come back, and then we'll be able to make it route again. Or wait, or can auxiliary vessels even come back? I've seen them perma route before. I don't remember if they can execute once or not. Auxiliaries are always kind of funny like that. Anyway, let's stasis you up, and good luck with that, Demiurge. You do have a lot of HP as well, 5,000. Not too bad, and comparable armor to ours. Although the Annihilator Beam and the Gauss Particle Whips both do reduce your armor to 25. It's honestly, the armor would mainly matter against our Lightning Arcs, which we don't have. Oh, good luck with that. In fact, let's just speed this up while we just rip it apart. I do still want to get at least one more battle going this episode, even though we are very quickly running out of time. In fact, we're probably technically out of time, but whatever. It's fine. Not a huge deal here. And yeah, Kroot Vessel, you might be gone for good. You are going to identify us as you get closer, but what we could do is board... Wait. Hit it with Ancestral Terror immediately. And then, you know what, target its deck first. And board it. Oh, wait. Trap it here. Jump behind it. Board it. It'll board us back, but who cares? And come on, get ready with those boarders. Attach another Canoptech probe because you're ready to jump. It will identify us and it'll board us as well, but... There we go, boarders are in. It's trapped, can't move, and then we're gonna jump behind it. Why behind it? Because it's got broadside weaponry for a lot of its stuff, and therefore, like this, it can't do anything to us. And now it's gonna mutiny, and it's not going to come back, I guess, because of the whole auxiliary thing. It needed those Tau on the field. Alright, well done, CAIRN Annihilator. I thought that would be a lot more difficult, but I also thought that the enemy would be bringing a lot more missile troops and stuff like that, but I don't know, still a fairly fun showcase in my opinion as a small scale battle. Alrighty, one more time. Let's take us. Well, okay, wait. Let's change up the fleet here for a second. Create a massive fleet. Let's bring 2 CAIRN Annihilators this time. There you go. I don't care. There we go. Save. And Nightmare Shroud only applies to the flagship, so I guess we could benefit more from the residual absorption if we're going to be bringing 2 of these. Still obviously want to be bringing the Arc Propagator, though. I mean, Nightmare Shroud's still pretty good, but you know, let's just change it up a little bit right now. And against... No, not Corsairs. It's definitely got to be either Space Marines, Tyranids, or Orcs. I feel like the Orcs might be too easy. We'd probably just be able to stay ahead of them. So it's gonna have to be Tyranids or Space Marines. Who would be more difficult for these guys? I'm not entirely sure. Generally speaking, I find the Tyranids more difficult than the Space Marines, but it always depends on the type of fleet as well. Let's go Tyranids this time. I think we went for... Did we go for Space... No, wait, we went for Tyranids against the Azagara. Let's go Space Marines then. Well, let's go Space Marines. Just to change it up a little bit. Alrighty. Yeah, these episodes always run a little bit long, but I do really enjoy testing out ships in general. 2 of you. Unfortunately, not something you can do in a standard-sized fleet, but that's okay. And ooh, we got another cool system here with the star there. Alrighty, and you guys are obviously going to go into reload, ready up, and oh, looks like they brought a Titan. It is an Eternal Crusader. It's a nice Titan, too. I love the Eternal Crusader. Alright, let's speed you guys up and hide in the clouds because you are sniper ships and you should act like it. And let us also, well, we'll just maintain speed for a little while before we set up a Canoptech probe. Although we could set up several Canoptech probes. You know what, do this. What's the max range here? Yeah, that's about it. I am kind of proud of myself for estimating it reasonably well there. You guys can cancel order, but also go into engagement angle forward, please. Cancel order, do your own thing. We'll get the stasis bomb to sort of slow down the Eternal Crusader. Otherwise, just snipe them apart. Hello, what do we have here? All right, we can slow it down now. A battle barge and a strike cruiser. Rip apart these strike cruisers first, and 2, and then 3, and then 4, if that's all their ships especially. While we're at it, stasis bomb them all up. Hopefully the Eternal Crusader does get trapped as well. Honestly, if this Mark II just goes through it and the rest of the fleet is separated while this thing dies, it wouldn't be too bad. Although obviously it would be better if they all were to get trapped. And also we get no benefit out of our ancestral terrors for this. Space Marines don't get terrified so easily, apparently. Or so we're told. But I'm sure the Necrons are working on it. Wait, how does the pariah effect or the blank effect work on Space Marines? I'm not recalling. Like, do they still... I assume they still feel the negative aura, but they just don't freak out about it. Although, I feel like I've had conflicting reports, essentially, on how different people have reacted to the aura there. I didn't mean to use both, that was an accident. I thought I had selected only one, oh well. It's alright, it's alright. Yeah, I feel like some people have genuinely freaked out being near blanks from the books that I've read, but whereas others are more like disgusted by them. Another thing to look up, as usual. Alrighty, well, rip apart that Grand Cruiser if possible. We're getting a lot of mileage out of our propagation. We can also jump back. The Eternal Crusader does have a fairly decent amount of close-range weaponry, a Volkite lance, a bunch of heavy macros here, and even more heavy macros. So destroying the enemy from a distance would very well benefit us. Keep on doing it, and you're gonna board us, but that's okay. Let's trap this battle barge then. You should be dead in a few seconds. Cool looking ship though, you gotta admit. And, oh, you don't have another Star Pulse Wave available. We're just gonna have to hope our fighters shoot down those boarding torps. I don't think it's gonna happen. Let's just move away. Are you gonna ram us? In fact, we'll ram you. I really like the way this Mark II looks. There you go. Oh, we're gonna get hit with a disruption, which is unfortunate because that'll screw with our hull cauterization, considering we took the hull cauterization upgrade in particular. Alrighty, hit that battle barge. Hopefully all these debris fields don't interfere too much with it. We don't technically need our Canoptek probes. It will take a while to bring these guys down, because they do have quite a lot of HP. But we also have the benefit of being able to reposition and all that sort of stuff. Alright, well done, well done. Plus we do have the shield penetration of both the particle whips as well as the annihilator beams. These guys are getting a little bit uncomfortably close. Let's move it this way. They will see us. You're not going to go into yellow state, I think. Oh, just as they launched a bunch of torps, which would have, I guess, necessitated our using the Star Pulse Waves. You guys move over here, keep firing and keep killing this battle barge. Number 1 targeted, please. And jump into here as fast as you possibly can. In fact, let's speed it up while we reposition here. And then let's also launch some defensive fighters as we can. Okay, I also want you, my friend, to get trapped here. Oh, you might be able to move past that. Might have screwed that up a little bit. Nah, we're still fine. You jump here. Jump here before you get boarded. And turn, turn, turn. We will save the jump from. There we go. Oh, and it looks like they're keeping the battle barge back. Okay, you know what? Position yourself right here and you right here, because there's these debris things in the way. Or debris, pieces of debris. And let's get another Canoptek probe for no reason. I just hate seeing the cooldown down. It bothers me. There we go. Now, I wanted to use the reactive hull, but honestly, we haven't really needed it. But we wouldn't have gotten any benefit out of Nightmare Shroud against the Space Marines either. Alright, some nice propagation. Both of these two are close enough so that our weaponry does hit them both. It looks like the battle barge is almost out of the picture. We're still basically at full HP, which does show you the strength in general of Necron sniper ships that do a lot of their damage via particle whips and via annihilator beams. Look at how we've been able to constantly reposition, keep away from the enemy, kite them, kill them from a distance, even though this is not really a long-distance fighting faction, generally speaking. Down goes the merciless retribution. We had no mercy for yet either, did we? And, well, I guess we can keep launching our own defensive fighters. Don't really need to repair or do anything otherwise. I think one more stasis bomb should do it. And now we only have one left. And if you can't burn your engines, you will not be able to identify us. At least I hope. Let's see. It's getting closer and closer. It'll be able to board us, possibly. If it finds us, but I think it's going to get stuck in a second. Oh, and it switched to reload in preparation for getting up close. Really bad move by the AI. Really should have used brace there, because you're about to take a ton of damage. You're at about half HP Eternal Crusader, and we're still just fine. We can also jump right behind you and hit you in the back if we really felt like it. At the same time, we could also board you with some lightning strikes. Not going to be a crazy amount of damage. What's our lightning strike damage? It's 10. Will that force you into? It'll even force you into call to arms. Oh, you poor thing. This poor fleet. Yeah, but I think it is a pretty strong case for the CAIRN Annihilator being a very strong ship. No wonder the CAIRN Annihilator was used as a Markin's flagship in the modded campaign. There we go. Love watching those annihilator beams fire from the top of those pyramids as well. I love how they're directly from the top of the pyramids. Alrighty, it looks like the enemy's getting critted up as well. Lost actually 40% of its weaponry. All 4 of its bombardment cannon turrets. It is still in call to arms, and it is almost close enough to actually board us back, I think, but we're probably past the point of caring. Its engines are still up. I would like to target its engines. Ooh, hello. Oh, it went for you? Damn it. I thought it would have gone for the other ship. Alrighty, there we go. And you, my friend, are going to be out of the picture. Ancestral Terria, just because we can. It does nothing, it just looks cool. And a couple more shots, and in the shadow of the star shall fall the Eternal Crusader. I think one more shot with anybody's Annihilator Beam will do it. There we go, and now that looked like an Annihilator Beam that took it out indeed. Beautiful. Well done to the CAIRN Annihilators. Very, very well done. And I thought that the Space Marines would be very difficult, and they did not present much of a challenge at all. I feel like in these numbers, yeah, we're very, very strong. And I feel like the Tyranids would have sort of gone the same way. We would have just been able to maintain distance. It does certainly take a while to fight enemy fleets like this, but that's also partially because we don't have lightning arcs to propagate to enemy swarms, so we can't jump into a swarm and deal damage to all of them. We might as well maintain distance and do damage via propagation. Ironically, for this particular round, we would have benefited from either Shards of Nyadrazat. Well, that's only flagship. Then again, we could have done an Eldritch Bridge to get some more use out of our lightning strikes for those ships. I'll keep that in mind. I think this would have been a better choice than the residual absorption in this particular situation, but this could have also been a good choice if we were faced against, I don't know, a bunch of subjugators or omegas that were actually able to spot us. But unfortunately, they were not this time, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. More Necron new ships to take a look at and spotlight as we continue. Don't forget to leave a like and comment for your friendly neighborhood heretic. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.